Hello class, welcome to week 2 of BUAD 201. Just a reminder, this will be an online week and I want to go over a few things with you as a class before we do move forward. So let's go ahead and take a look at our syllabus real quick and we can review a few things that we need to complete this week and by the end of next week as well. So let's go ahead and scroll down to our syllabus. So you can see week 2, we are here, and it's an online week, which is highlighted in pink. This week we're going to be discussing chapters 1 and 2. You're also going to have a week 2 class activity to complete, and you're also going to have to complete your MindTap homework, chapters 1 and 2. That is going to be due on February 15th. I always give an extra week for the first MindTap homework just because I know students are still registering for MindTap and trying to get everything situated. And remember, if you go back here to Titanium, you can register for our MindTap class here by clicking on this link. Once you click on it, it will take you to our MindTap website and you will see our course here. Keep in mind you may not be in section 18, you may be in a different section, but I'm completing this video lecture for my 201 section 18 class, but I do also have a 201 section 25 class. So depending on which class you're in, it should show right up there. And next week is also going to be an online week as well, and you're going to have an activity to complete along with your chapter 3 and 4 MindTap homework. All right, let's go ahead and scroll down for this week. So last week, January 26th, we went over this information here when we were in our live class. Now, if you scroll down a little bit further, you're going to see week 2, which starts today on February 2nd to February 8th. Which is going to be Thursday by 11:55 p.m. at night. So whenever you have work that needs to be completed, it's going to be due by Thursday 11:55 p.m. at that night. So this week we're going to review chapter 1 and chapter 2, so be sure to read both chapters before our lecture, that way you have a good idea of what they are about. I'm also going to be going over a PowerPoint review for chapter 1 and chapter 2 in our lecture video. So please be sure to watch this lecture video as you're going to need to watch it to complete your week 2 class activity. So your week 2 class activity I went over last week as well too, but under your files and attachments for this week, and usually for almost every week, you're going to have a class activity to complete. And this class activity, you're going to complete it while you're watching the lecture video. So when you watch the lecture video and we go over our PowerPoints today, you are going to have to answer some questions. So if you click on the week 2 class activity, you're going to see it here, what you're going to need to do. So you're just going to download this week 2 class activity sheet, and then once you're done with it, you're going to upload it here as well too. So let's go ahead and get that open. It may take a second to get open. So as you're watching our video lecture this week and we go through our PowerPoints, I'm going to ask you some questions. As I ask you those questions, you're going to write down your response here. So you're just going to write your answer here. And usually it will tell you how long your answers need to be, whether it's 3 to 4 sentences, 1 to 2 sentences, a paragraph, etc. If I don't ever tell you to write any length, write as much as you feel is necessary. But in this case, you're going to complete your week 2 class activity. You're going to write all your answers under each one. You're going to change your name here as well. Once you're done, you're going to save your file, and after you save it, you're going to upload it to the week 2 class activity sheet here by the end of the week on Thursday, February 8th. So please keep that in mind. And I also put the PowerPoint lecture we're going to be going over today, which is a chapters 1 and 2 lecture right here. So let's go back to the tasks to complete this week. So you're going to watch the weekly class video lecture. And it's going to be uploaded right here. So make sure you watch it. It's going to be uploaded right here. You're going to watch the conflict video TED Talk below. You're just going to click on this link. For some of you, it may show a link. For some of you, it may show the actual video here as a box, and you can just click on it. Then you're also going to complete your week 2 class activity, and then complete your chapters 1 and 2 MindTap homework. So this is everything you need to do for this week. As long as you complete everything here on time, you should be good to go before our next week, week 3 video lecture. So let's go ahead and begin our lecture. I'm going to go ahead and open up the chapters 1 and 2 lecture. I'm always going to put our lectures here as well too, so that way you have direct access to the PowerPoints. If you ever need to refer back to them, you can. This way you don't really have to save them on your computer. They're always going to be here on Titanium for you to access. So let's go ahead and give it a quick minute to open up. My computer's a little slow, so sometimes my documents take a little bit longer to open up. So this week we're going to talk about chapters 1 and 2 from your textbook, so please make sure you have read both of these chapters so you can follow along a little better while we discuss the material. So go ahead and open up your week 2 class activity document. It's that document we went over where you're going to be completing the weekly activities, and just save it to your computer and make sure you have your file open so that way as we continue throughout our week 2 class activity, our week 2 lecture, you can go ahead and pause the video and complete each week activity. I'll go ahead and give you a little time to open that up. All right, so let's go ahead and begin talking about chapters 1 and 2. First, I'd like to talk about communicating in a digital world. Since we now live in a digital world where a lot of communicating is completed through a digital means of method, it's important to have a good understanding of how we communicate in this digital world. So communication skills are critical to effective job placement, performance, career advancement, and even any kind of organizational success. So it's important that you have these communication skills. This way you can make sure that you maximize your efforts in your current workplace environment. You know, when you get your first job or even your internship, whatever it may be, whichever one may come first, your communication skills are going to be critical to the success of you in that company. And of course, writing can be your ticket in and out of the door. So a lot of supervisors, bosses, managers, whoever you may be reporting to, they're going to look at how you write. They're going to look to see if you put time and effort into your emails, any kind of report that you have to complete. Maybe you're completing some kind of marketing report and your boss has asked you to put together maybe a marketing plan for the next month. Well, he or she is going to look at how well you write. You know, if your writing is sloppy and it doesn't have the time put into it, your supervisor is going to look at this and see, well, you know, this person doesn't put a lot of time or effort into their writing. This may tell me that maybe they don't put a lot of time and effort into their job. Because remember, whenever you send an email, you don't know whose hands that email is going to be in. For example, there were quite a few times when I was working as a marketing manager, I would send an email requesting a project to be completed from a coworker. Well, that coworker may not be responsible for completing that entire project. They may need to get help from someone else. So what they may do is forward that email that I originally had sent them to that person that they may need help from. And what they'll do is they'll forward the email and they'll say, hey, take a look at Bobby's email below. Can you help me with part X, Y, and Z? So that way I can get it completed. Now this new person is going to scroll down and they're going to look at that email you wrote. So you don't know whose hands your email is going to be in, or even a report that you write. That's why it's very important to make sure that you put that critical time and effort into writing an email, a report, whatever it may be, because effective writing skills can lead to better job opportunities. Looking at this last bullet point, if your supervisor knows that you can write and you put a time and effort into your writing, they're going to see that you have that opportunity and that you want to move up into the workplace. So keep in mind that effective writing skills can lead to a better job opportunity. So writing in the digital age. Digital writing, this can mean anything from social media to blogs, etc. You know, and this is considered to be more casual among young adults. Now, this can be good and it can be bad. Good meaning that you may not have to put too much effort into your writing styles, but can also mean bad because you don't know who is going to be looking at the writing that you're completing. So, for example, your social media posts that you put online. If you have a Facebook account or Instagram account and you're writing a tagline for the photo that you may be uploading, if you're not using complete sentences, that's fine. It's more casual. But the problem with this is that it can transfer over into your writing for your workplace. For example, I've had students turn in reports and writing assignments using the letter I as if they were talking about themselves with a lowercase I. So if you want to write something like, I like to go hiking on the weekends. Well, that first letter I is not going to be capitalized because that's how they're used to writing on social media. Granted, we have autocorrect on our mobile devices or even in our Microsoft Word documents for certain items, but at the same time, you need to make sure to be careful that your writing habits that you have from your social media or blog that you are writing about is not pouring over into your professional workplace environment because again, supervisors are going to be looking at your writing skills, coworkers, and whoever it may be. They're actually going to take a look at how your writing is. And going into the next bullet point, employers look at digital writing as an important aspect, like those examples I talked about your emails and reports. This is something that they're going to base your job off of. Now, let's say you're the social media marketing manager for an organization. Well, granted, social media, you need to know how to write. You have to have a good understanding of how to write in the social media environment. But at the same time, you don't have to have a degree in English and essay writing and a minor in literature to have a better understanding on how to write. But at the same time, writing is looked at as an important aspect in any kind of job performance. So this is why it's important for you to make sure that you put that time and effort into your writing. And figure 1.1 in your book shows the emergence of new technologies, new communication technologies. It just kind of shows how much we have involved in writing and technology in the workplace environment. The good news is communication skills can be learned. So if you don't have solid or a good set of communication skills, the good news is they can be learned. And enrolling in this class will help you polish your business communication skills. Remember, this class is essential and is required in order for you to take BUAD 301, which is Advanced Business Communication. The university doesn't want you going into BUAD 301 without a good foundation of business writing. And of course, these skills must be learned. This is why we take this class. So it's important that you put in the time and effort to make sure that you learn these skills. And practice makes perfect. If you practice something over and over and over and over, it's going to embed in your DNA. A good example I like to use is Kobe Bryant. Now, Kobe Bryant, for those of you who don't know, was a basketball player on the Los Angeles Lakers that recently retired. Well, what Kobe would do was he would go hours before practice and stay hours after practice to practice his basketball shot. And he would do this over and over until it was embedded in his DNA that he knew how to perfect it. And he was really good at shooting the ball because he practiced shooting more than anybody else. So this is why practice makes perfect also in writing. This is why we're going to be completing these class activities because I want you to constantly practice writing. I want you to complete activities that are going to help you polish your skills. And remember, job candidates with exceptional communication skills instantly stand out. These communication skills are critical to career success. So, by communication skills, what do I mean? Not only do I mean in the interview of communicating with someone, but also you're writing your resume. How are you going to write your resume? This is a kind of communication skill that you need to know. When I was hiring a marketing coordinator to work under me at a .com I was working at, I would have to review applications, and these applications consisted of a cover letter, a resume, and a reference page. Now, I would read the candidate's cover letter, and if their cover letter was not written well, or I see they didn't put their time and effort into their writing, or didn't even spell check or correct their grammar mistakes, I wouldn't even look at the resume because that told me that if they weren't serious about writing a cover letter and putting the time and energy into writing a well polished cover letter, then most likely that would transfer over into how they work as well too. So I would look at job candidates who had exceptional cover letters, who wrote them very, very well. They did not have any grammar mistakes. It was very clean, and it was just easy to understand. And once you turn in your resume, and if you get a call back for an interview, you're going to go in and you're going to talk to one, two, maybe even three or four people. And now your communication skills of your body language are going to come into play. Your eye contact, how you speak, what words and vocabulary are you using? These are critical to your success. So keep that in mind. So for your class activity 1 in your Microsoft Word document, let's go ahead and open that back up so I can show you. So in your Microsoft Word document, this is where you're going to complete your activity 1. You will write your 3 to 4 sentence answer here. And once you're done, you're going to save it. So let's go ahead and go back to the class activity. So in 3 to 4 sentences, discuss why you think communication skills fuel career success and why writing skills are vital in a digital workplace embracing social media. So I want you to just go ahead and answer this in 3 to 4 sentences and write it down in your class activity number 1. And usually in my in-class traditional classes, I give the students about 10 minutes to complete this activity. Since this is an online course, you have all the time you want to complete this activity. So go ahead and pause this video, and once you're done writing your class activity number 1, go ahead and resume the video. So now that you've completed class activity number 1, I'd like to go into the next section of chapters 1 and 2, the digital revolution in youth, tools for success in the 21st century workplace. So thinking critically in a digital age when your boss asks for your opinion is very important. It's like, what should we do? If your boss asks you for something, what should we do? This is something that you need to know how to complete because obviously your boss is going to ask you for quite a bit of things to complete. You want to constantly train in new ways on how to develop ideas. So when your boss asks you for something, if they ask your opinion or if they ask you to create something that can help solve a problem, you want to think critically about what it is you need to do. You don't want to just blurt out an answer right away. You want to do a little bit of research. You want to figure out what it is that you need to do in order to provide your boss with what it is that they're looking for. And when you can think critically, this is going to help you succeed in that environment. The second bullet point, constantly train in new ways on how to develop ideas, is extremely important. Going back to that Kobe Bryant example, you want to constantly practice, you want to constantly train on how to develop ideas. So that way, when you are in the workplace environment and you begin to train and you develop new ideas, you're going to know how to train to develop these new ideas. You're not going to have to take that long to develop new ideas. So what I want to do now is give you a good understanding and a good foundation on how you yourself can develop new ideas in the workplace. So let's look at the creative problem solving process your book discusses. It has 3 parts. 1, explore the challenge. 2, generate ideas. And 3, implement solutions. So let's look at number 1, exploring the challenge. So first, identify the challenge. What is the challenge you need to complete? Identify what it is that you want to complete. What is it that your boss is asking you for? Or maybe it's just something you're taking on your own and you want to complete for your company and organization. So identify the challenge. What is that challenge you need to do? Gather information and clarify the problem. So look at everything, take a step back, gather the information on what it is that the challenge is. What is it that you may need to know about the problem? The more information you have about something, the better you're going to help solve this problem. And make sure to clarify what the problem is. This is important, and this is something that is always misdiagnosed among people when they are looking at a challenge. So, for example, let's say my foot hurts. Well, if I tell you my foot hurts, that's not the problem. The problem is I may have a bruised bone or a fractured ankle or a sprained ankle. That is the problem at hand. Saying my foot hurts isn't the problem itself. So this is something that you need to understand. What is the problem? What is the root of the problem? Because if I tell you my foot hurts, there are many diagnoses a doctor can say. Well, let's get an x-ray, let's get an MRI, stay off your foot for a couple weeks, don't jump on your foot, but if you know what the problem is, if I tell the doctor, if the doctor finds out, hey, my foot is actually sprained, well, he'll know, okay, stay off your foot for 7 to 10 days, because a sprained ankle needs 7 to 10 days rest. Whereas if I have a broken bone, the doctor's going to say, okay, we need to put you in a cast and you need to stay off your foot for 6 months. So there's a big difference when you know what the problem is. You can help diagnose a solution. Two, generate ideas. So come up with many ideas to solve the problem. When you have a lot of ideas to choose from, this will help you pick the most promising problem solving process. Going to the next bullet point, you want to pick the most promising ideas. So if I come up with one idea right away and then I stop and I say, great, I have an idea to help solve the problem. Well, that's only one idea. How do you know there aren't better ideas? What if there are better ideas? So you want to make sure to come up with many ideas to help solve a problem. And then number three, implement solutions. Select and strengthen solutions. Pick which one you want to move with. Now, the one you want to move forward with, how can you help strengthen the solution to make sure that it's going to work? That way you can make sure to maximize your potential of solving this problem. Plan how to bring your solution to life and then implement it. So implementing this creative problem solving process will help you really understand how to solve a problem in the workplace environment. So let's look at this example at the bottom. So let's say your boss wants you to come up with a solution on how to organize the marketing department's lack of space in the meeting room. So let's say our marketing department is growing. We have more and more people. Well, now our weekly meetings are becoming a little bit more packed and we need more room. So what are some things that you can do to help generate ideas on how to solve this issue? Well, maybe you can talk to HR and figure out a new place, a new area to have your meeting rooms, your meetings in a bigger room so that way everybody can fit. That's one idea. Maybe another idea would be replacing the chairs in that meeting room with more efficient and smaller chairs. Maybe the current chairs in there are those bulky office desk chairs and they have armrests and each one is like 3 feet wide and they just take up a lot of room. Well, maybe you can get chairs that are 2 feet wide and now you can fit more chairs into this room. Maybe another idea, now you can always think outside the box, is hey, talk to the building department and knock down a wall so that way you can expand the meeting room and make it a little bit bigger. So let's go ahead and take a look at class activity number 2. We're going to talk a little bit about roundtable meetings. So the example that we talked about before, about your boss wanting you to come up with a solution on how to organize the marketing department's lack of space in the meeting room. Uh, Keep that in mind. I put that on here so you can just be reminded of what we just discussed. Always remember that no idea is a bad idea. You just want to come up with as many ideas as possible. So what I want you to do in 3 to 4 sentences, explain how you can help solve a problem regarding the lack of participation in monthly roundtable meetings. Why do you think this will work? So a roundtable meeting, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, a roundtable meeting is conducted by a human resources department in an organization. And what they do is they invite one person from every department. So they'll bring someone in from the marketing department, someone in from the accounting, finance, building and IT issues, etc., etc. So you get this roundtable meeting of people from different departments. And you discuss certain things going on in the organization. You discuss maybe there's a parking issue and you want to get someone's idea from every department. Or maybe you want to discuss building logistics, whatever it may be. They have these roundtable meetings so they can get the opinion of people from different departments. But now the problem is there has been a lack of participation in these roundtable meetings. Since they are voluntarily, a lot of people aren't going, and there's a lack of participation, and this is not helping the human resources department. So again, 3 to 4 sentences explain how you can help solve a problem regarding the lack of participation in monthly roundtable meetings. Whatever idea you come up with, why do you think this will work? So again, in the traditional class I teach, I give my students about 10 minutes to complete this in class. For this point, go ahead and pause this video lecture. Go ahead and take the time needed to complete this class activity number 2. And once you are done, go ahead and save it on your Word document and go ahead and click the play button to resume this video lecture. So the importance of business writing and tips. So I want to watch this video from YouTube and I want you guys to be prepared to complete a class activity on this video. So make sure to take notes on this video. It's not too long, but it's a video that gives you some tips about business writing, some things that you can look forward. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and watch this video together.
James Manxlow, CEO of MindTools.com, home to hundreds of free career-boosting tools and resources.
And I'm Amy Carlson from MindTools. How much time do you spend every day reading and writing? Many of us spend quite a bit of our days doing both of these things. And you don't need us to tell you how frustrating and time-consuming it is when you have to read through an email or memo that's poorly written. But how proficient and clear is your own writing? Well, poor writing not only causes delays and frustrations for others, but it can also set back your own career. For instance, your boss may question your skills if you send unclear emails, or poorly written instructions could confuse your team, lowering productivity and causing delays.
If you write well, you're going to make a great impression on the people around you, so it's definitely worth the effort to take the time to hone these skills. The first step to writing clearly is to know your audience. An email written to a trusted team member is going to sound different from an email that you send to a new client. Make sure that the tone and the content matches the audience that you're writing for. When you're ready to start writing, think about your audience again. Remember, they have no idea about what you're going to tell them. What do they need to know first? Next, identify your main theme. This is the central point that you want to make. If you're having trouble defining what your theme is, then imagine that you have 15 seconds to explain your point. What would you say?
If you're creating a longer written piece like a report, then take time to create an outline. This will help you focus your thoughts so that you can lay out information in a logical order. Outlines can also help you make sure that you don't forget an important piece of information. When you write, use simple words. Longer words can be impressive, but they can also confuse and frustrate your readers. Unless you're writing a highly technical piece, stick to simple, clear words. Next, pay attention to the structure of your writing. Long sentences and paragraphs are more difficult to read and understand. Also, use headings, subheadings, and bullet points to break up your message.
Once you've written your piece, go back over it for errors. This is a step that many people skip, but grammatical errors are not only unsightly and confusing, they also make you look unprofessional. So, make sure that you've used commas and apostrophes correctly and that you haven't misused any words. Your last step is to proofread your document again. It's easy to overlook mistakes in our own writing, so it's always worth a second look. You can make sure that your writing flows smoothly and easily by reading your document out loud.
You can find more tips for improving your writing in the article that accompanies this video. You can also learn more on becoming a better writer by going through our bite-sized training session on writing skills.
This is just one of the tools available at MindTools.com. Take a few moments to explore the menus on the left-hand side of this site. The articles you'll find there teach more than 100 skills that will help you improve your career completely for free.
All right, that was about all the video we need to see from there. So what I'd like you guys to do now is complete your class activity number 3. In 3 to 4 sentences, discuss one of the key items from the video. Why do you think it will be important in your career? How can it help you further your career? So just talk about these 2 questions in about 3 to 4 sentences. If you'd also like to add maybe something you enjoyed from this video, feel free to as well. Again, I give about 10 minutes to complete this activity in class. But for this online course, go ahead and pause this lecture, and once you are done completing class activity number 3, save it, and then go ahead and continue this video lecture and hit the play button. So let's take a look at what do digital age employers want. So there's a few things that they look for. Obviously your education, which is why you're here today. Your experience, which is why it's important to make sure that you get an internship, even 2 of them. The more experience you have from interning and even in-class projects, they really take a look at this and take it into consideration. They also look at your hard skills and soft skills. Now your hard skills are more technical skills in your field, whereas soft skills are more of active listening skills, nonverbal behavior, business etiquette, And all three of these that I just mentioned are soft skills are required for team participation. So I want to talk a little bit more in detail about the soft skills. And let's look at these three different points. So active listening skills, a lot of us have trouble listening to people. We always want to get out something we need to say and express our feelings about something. But what I like to do is making sure I take into consideration active listening skills. Try to listen to people a little bit more, especially in the workplace. Listen to what they have to say. Let them finish what it is that they're talking about. Then jump into what it is you want to say after you've completed listening to them and what it is they need to say. So, listening skills are extremely important in today's day and age of job placement. Of course, nonverbal behavior. This is something employers look at as well too. Um, Depending on the department you're going into work, nonverbal behaviors may play a big role. Let's take a look at two different completely departments. So let's take a look at the marketing department and the IT department. Maybe someone in an IT department doesn't have to be too upbeat or walk around with a smile on their face because, they're working on computers all day. They're not interacting with too many people, only the people who are calling to request help with their computers. But, they're working with artificial intelligence all day. So it's a little bit different working with that. Whereas in the marketing department, if you're calling, newspapers or PR firms and you're talking with people, your nonverbal behavior is going to play an important role in this communication. Are you speaking loud enough? What is your body language saying to someone in front of you? If I'm giving a presentation to my boss, is my head down? Am I quiet? Are my nonverbal behavior cues really low and they're not good? If they are, these are things I need to work on. So nonverbal behavior plays an important role as well. And then, of course, business etiquette, responding to people within 24 hours of an email or helping others with something, maybe in your current work or your current job. One of your coworkers needs some help on a project. You finished yours for the day, so you decide to help your coworker because that's something you would want them to do. So keep that in mind. And again, all three of these soft skills we went over are required for team participation. So why form teams? So by forming teams, you can get better decisions. You have more people discussing an item. You are able to get different opinions from different people. You get faster response. When you have 4 or 5 people working on a project, or even 3 people in a group, you're going to get a faster response because you're going to be able to figure out what it is you need to figure out and respond to it. Increase productivity. When you have multiple people working on something, it's just going to get done quicker if it's spread out efficiently. You also get greater buy-in when everybody's working towards the same goal. You're going to be able to really share that with your teammates, and you're going to all buy into the idea of earning an A on your group project or completing this report for your business organization. You have less resistance to change. You also get improved employee morale and even reduced risks. When you have more people working on something, most likely someone's going to find an error when you have 4 people working on something compared to one. So, what I'd like to do now is talk a little bit about conflict. So, your book describes 6 steps of dealing with conflict. So, conflict arises in any situation. It's going to be in every organization. You're gonna come across conflict in your job probably multiple times. So, keep these 6 steps in mind. 1, listen to ensure you understand the problem. This is really critical because you need to make sure you understand what the problem is. Maybe not what the issue is, but what's the problem? What's the root of the problem? When you can understand that, you can work together to figure out how to solve it. 2, understand the other's position. This is extremely important because you can't be biased towards your own opinion. You need to look at something in the other person's eyes. How are they viewing this? Why are they taking this the way they are? Why are they disagreeing with me? When you can understand how they feel and what they feel, you're going to have a better chance of resolving the conflict. And of course, show a concern for the relationship. Let the person know, hey, I know we're caught in the middle of this conflict. I really want to solve this. I really like working with you. I think we can get through this group project together. Let's try to figure out a solution. I want you to be happy, and I want me to be happy as well too. So let's really make sure we get this together so we can, continue our relationship moving forward. When you show a concern for the relationship, they're going to see you care, and when they see you care, they're going to know that you really want to solve the problem. Look for areas of mutual agreement. This is good because when you can look for a certain area of mutual agreement, try to strive to get something done where you can both fit in that mutual agreement. That way you can both be happy. And of course, invent new problem solving options. Talk about ideas of how you can solve this problem. No idea is a bad idea. Just try to figure it out. And of course, reach a fair agreement and choose the best option. Number six is always a little difficult to do because some people don't want to give up too much, but sometimes you need to give up a little bit in order to resolve conflict. So just make sure you reach a fair agreement and both parties are happy. So for your class activity number 4, I would like you to watch the conflict video TED Talk under your week 2 section in titanium. It's another video I uploaded. After watching the video, in 3 to 4 sentences, I want you to discuss why you think it is important to resolve conflict. How can using these tools from your readings this week help resolve conflict in a team setting? How will you apply the tools you learned in your personal life? So go ahead and watch the video. Again, I give 10 minutes to complete this activity after the video is done. So once you are done, again, just make sure you upload it to Titanium by the end of our week, by the deadline, which is listed in the description. And once you're done, you can just go ahead and upload it there into that link. And so that is it for our week 2 material. Please make sure to complete everything again by the end of the week, which is February 8th by 11:55 p.m. So that way on Friday, February 9th, you can go ahead and begin our week 3 lecture video for our online week as well. Thank you. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I have all my contact information up here. Again, I have my mobile phone number here. Please, you guys, if there's any issue with anything, call me, text me, whatever it is, and I will do whatever I can to help you. No matter what day of the week it is, I'm here to help you guys 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Usually, I'll be sleeping late at night, but I'll get back to you the next day. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your week and enjoy week 2.